Oh man. They get rougher every week. I'm serious here, folks. You be quiet now. I said. Yeah? Oh, she turned off. Hey folks, once again, deep in the bowels of downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, hidden away from all human eyes and contact, comes the show you love to love in the Library of Graphic Literature with me, Wallace, your mad librarian. Now, this week, where's my tea? Where's my tea? I gotta fire that assistant. Hang on a second. There we go. Oh, what a day, what a day. Anyway, this week, let's take off the glasses here. This week wasn't a huge week. It would have been a slightly bigger week if Diamond had put my Batman Golden Age Volume 5, I think it is, Omnibus, in our order, but I guess I'm going to be waiting a couple of weeks for that. So I got something else to show you after I go through what we have here. So, let's get booky. Now, let's start with another great book from Fantagraphics. Love you folks. This great new series of theirs called Disney Masters. Now, Disney Masters is, of course, it's a way for them to highlight a lot of the work done on Disney titles and characters from Europe. So far, a lot of Italians. This one is by Luciano Bottaro, who was a fairly big one there. And I had to pick this up just to have a, well, I'm picking up all the books. It just looks so cool. Inspired by my good buddy Sam Johnson, who's a real expert on the Disney stuff. He keeps me appraised of all the different things, and everything I know about ducks and duck-like books comes from him. So anyway, this one is Walt Disney, Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge's Money Rocket. Pretty cool, eh? I'm gonna show you this here now. Bottaro, I think he was well known. Oh, I can't remember for the life of me. For some, he was best known, I think. Hang on a second, let's see if he has it here in the back. Pepito. Yes, Pepito. This is a strip he was best known for. Wasn't very popular, I think, in Italy, but it was in other parts of Europe. Now, this is very different from, I find, compared to Barks and, of course, Donna Rosa. It's drawn in a slightly more cartoony style, but, you know, it's, to me, it's kind of neat to get a look at how other people handle the same material. And of course they're wildly imaginative, maybe even a bit more so in some ways than the American version, the American versions of these of the DuckTales, but they're still pretty good. Anyway, I've been liking it so far, so can't be that bad. I love ducks too. I'm a big duck fan. Now let's see, what else do we have here. Okay, ooh, from Nick Drnaso. If I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry, Nick. This is a book called Sabrina. Now this looked pretty cool when I seen it in when I seen clips of it or samples of it online and all that. And the artwork in a bit of a way reminds me of a mixture between Adrian Tomini and oh god, who is it? Almost Chris Ware-like. I'll let you folks judge for yourself. Very muted palette here. But I mean, it's still kind of neat. Neat style. I really like it. I like the layout. I like the use of so many panels. But yeah, very. Like I say, I'm a huge fan of Chris Ware. So when I seen this, it was just like, oh, I'm very predisposed to liking this type of storytelling. So of course, I went with it. And one of these days, hopefully, I'll get a chance to have a read of it. So that is Sabrina. I'm really whipping through the books pretty fast here today, aren't I? Now, let's open this book here. Actually, do I need the... I do need the blade. Oh no, I cut myself. Oh, I'm bleeding to death here. No, I'm not. Oh. Well, let's tear this open and see what we got here. Okay, now this week, this is from DC. It's Marini's Batman, and this is the Dark Prince Charming. 2 of 2. So this is the second part. The first part is still. Oh, jeez, does this have a binding? Oh, yes. Oh no, it's glue. Bleh. Glue bindings. Bleh. But yeah, the artwork is fascinating, very very well done. It's funny, maybe 10, 15 years ago, this really would have stood out a lot more. But I mean, over the past 10 years, there's been such an influence internationally coming into North American comics and all that. I mean, it's great work and all that, don't get me wrong, but it's probably not as groundbreaking as it would have been years ago anyway. But still pretty cool. And of course, who doesn't like the Joker? Here's a sort of quick look at some of the artwork there. Always love a good Joker story. Who doesn't love a good Joker story? But yeah, nice palette too. I like the sort of gray and orange palette that seems to go throughout it in a way. So, Batman, the Dark Prince Charming, book 2 of 2 from Marini. Check about it. Oh. Whew. Okay, so now of course I'm only 7-8 minutes in, and already I'm finished at least my new books for this week. And so I was trying to figure, geez, what am I going to do to fill up all this extra time that I'll have left over? And I thought, well, I'll try a little bit of a feature now. Oh, hang a sec. Listen to that spinner turn there. I decided I'll have a look at some books of one of my favorite artists and all that of all time, and share with you my love of the great man we all know as Mobius. So let's start here. Well, we'll start very quickly with the Mobius library from Dark Horse. Here you go. Here's all 4 books here so far. I've been loving these books. Well, we'll start out with the first one in the series, The World of Adina. I can remember when I first started reading this. I loved this book. It's hard to describe what it's about. It's highly unusual, but it's pretty cool. It's about Stella and Atana, these 2 people who are trapped on a world, and then starts all their adventures. The art and the coloring is just absolutely stupendous. Like I said, I could go on and on talking about Mobius, but even better, let's have a look. So, like I say, we'll start here with even his simple stuff is really cool. I love this scene where they're in the woods here. I mean, detail Absolutely stunning detail. Love these little fairy-like creatures coming out there. That's cool. Then they wake up and they start to take on, because they're kind of androgynous up to this point, but then they start to take on features of a man and a woman, and it goes on from there. There's these guys with the big noses. They're kind of funny. I'm not going to give away too much here, but I will show you some of the great art. I always liked, there's just a simplicity and all that to him, but I always liked it when he went wild and he did panels like that. So, if any of you are looking for a place to start your Mobius reading, start with the Mobius library from Dark Horse. It's a gift to us comic book people here in North America. And of course, the Mobius library gets 10,000 kisses from me. Oh, let me hug it. Oh, this one especially, love that one. The next was the Art of Edina, which has some a few smaller stories and then some artwork of his and all that. So it's sort of more of an interesting romp through the mind and the art of Mobius. But still, well, like I say, to me, anything with Mobius in it is just absolutely stupendous. Look at that. This black and white work. Oh, I always like this. Black and white work is just as amazing as his color work. Look at that. Come on, people. You gotta love it. Oh, look at that. Yes. Stop making me loving you. There, Mobius. I mean, check that out. Come on. Very cool. Mobius just seemed to be brimming with other worlds. I love that. Other worlds, other peoples, other characters. He's, I'd say, along with Kirby, he's probably one of my top 10 favorite creators of all time. Now, next, after that comes Inside Mobius. Now, this is a work from later on in his life, and this basically, it really is, it was one that it's a very personalized type of thing. He meets with a lot of his characters and stuff like that, talks with his characters, even meets Osama bin Laden. They have a chat in this. He becomes a bit of a character in it. Now it's drawn in a very, it's drawn, how would you say it, it's kind of like Mobius Light, I guess. A lot of it just seemed to draw, looks like it's drawn straight onto the page as it is. A lot of it is fairly simple compared to some of his other stuff, but the story, of course, is absolutely incredible. I love it. Or it's not a story. Well, I guess it is a story in a way. But yeah, I really came to love it. I love this cover too. Inside Mobius Part 1 shows him with Major Gruber standing over him after having shot him. So yeah, this is, and the best thing about this too was I'd never seen Inside Mobius, and for years I knew of it, but for years I've been wishing that someone would actually bring this into the English language, and thankfully you find folks at Dark Horse went ahead and made my dream a reality, and the dream of many other people. But very, very fascinating. Great piece of work here. Something so simple yet so wonderful. There's the master. Oh, I wish I had gotten to meet him. Now, Mobius book part 2. Now, I think it was a 6-part series, and these basically have 2 books per in this. So So instead of having 6 books, we have 3 instead. So that's okay by me. I don't care that there's 2 put into it. So let's have a look at this one now. This one, I like that dog there. Kind of reminds me of Snowy. And here we go. Now this one I'm still in the middle of reading, but I'm loving it. Oh, there's my bookmark. I'm loving it. Still all the same. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. So yeah, check it out, you Mobius fans. Inside Mobius is kind of fun. Now let's dig into a few older ones here. Now, let's put this back there. Okay, first of all, I'm going to show you this huge copy here of actually Mobius's first collaboration with Jodorowsky, Alejandro Jodorowsky, who was a film director. He did a film El Topo, which I actually seen. It's pretty bizarre, but his comic book work with Mobius was second to none. I think for some reason he fit perfectly with Mobius. And here is basically the eyes of the cat. I love this because it's a nice big volume. I can remember this, I think it was in Heavy Metal first seeing this, but here you go. Actually, now is that big enough for you? And it's just about this guy looking out a window, and meanwhile there's a cat who goes through. I'm not going to show you everything. There's a few things though. Absolutely incredible art. So yeah, this is a cool little whimsical piece by the two of them. And now one of their more recent collaborations here, Mad Woman of the Sacred Heart, Jodorowsky and Mobius. This one, geez, it's been a while since I read this one. This was cool. It's very different. It's basically it's about this professor guy, and it's been so long. Actually, now it's funny. Even looking over it here, it's like, wow, this seems almost unfamiliar to me. But once again, absolutely beautifully drawn. I think it was around 2000, 2001 maybe that they did that. This, absolutely beautiful. Oh, look at that. Great drawing. Lots of nakedness, sex in it too. I love a comic with a bit of sex. Why not? Beautifully drawn. Great storytelling too. The two of them really seem to fit together like nothing else. So yeah, check this out. Mad Woman of the Sacred Heart. definitely a must-have for any of you Mobius fans out there. Oh, and of course comes their masterpiece together. They did a story called The Inkle, and this was actually one of my favorite pieces of theirs too. I love the way it starts here. I love this scene where he's falling. But yeah, The Inkle was a really super cool series. I can remember reading it. I think I started reading it in Heavy Metal, and then I can remember when Marvel had put out some editions of it and stuff like that. And then finally, years later, the Humanoids come out, and they put out a beautiful edition of it. So yeah, this is definitely worth watching. I mean, worth watching. What am I saying? Worth reading. The Inkle. So yeah, The Adventures of John DeFool, and once again, it's one of those things. It's hard to hard to really say what it's about. It's like some sort of cosmic sci-fi fantasy thing. I guess sci-fi fantasy, really, or science fantasy, I guess. And still really worth getting. The once again, the art in it is just absolutely mind-boggling. It boggles my mind. Whew. Yeah, well, better put it back in its slipcase, or someone's gonna kill me, possibly myself. Okay. Last, but definitely not least, is my copy of Major Fatale, otherwise known as The Airtight Garage of Jerry Cornelius. Now this little baby here, this is possibly one of my the oldest books in my collection. I bought this in 1983 or 1984 in New York City at where did I get this now? Oh, at Forbidden Planet, not at the current location when they used to be across the street there. And you know, I was going through looking at stuff, and I came across this, and the Airtight Garage of Jerry Cornelius was one of my favorite of. Not my favorite of Mobius's own, you know, solo creations. I loved it from the very first day I started reading it in heavy metal, and when I found this now, this is a French version. This is all in French, and I don't mind that because I've read the story before anyway, and I know enough of it that I can read through it here, even though it's in French. And my French is really awful, like not existent. But I can still read through it and love it and enjoy it. And it's probably one of my, yeah, I think it really started, in a lot of ways, it started my collecting. I did have a few other hardcover books over the years, Empire by Chaikin, and a few from the late 70s and early 80s and all that. But this one I will always treasure. I love his. He, in terms of black and white artwork, it's stunning. I love his. I love his black and white stuff. So if you ever get a chance to get a copy of it, and I like the fact that it's in black and white, like it was originally. Pretty darn cool. A good friend Terry Porter, he was really into Mobius. He was really the one who turned me on to Mobius. I love this, and this actually reminds me of him whenever I'm looking at this. So it brings back some memories. Oh, look, look at this. Come on, people. Isn't that cool? But, look at that pen, that pen and ink work. I love his titles and all that. The Garage, Hermetic. There's even one that really detailed. What is it? Oh, I probably passed it by now. Oh, here it goes. And this, I've seen this in English, and the title, I guess he must have done it himself. This instead of Le Garage, Hermetic, in the English version, it's The Airtight Garage. So I guess he would have had to redraw this page. But this, I always loved this page. It's so cool. So, like I say, if any of you are big Mobius fans out there, you'll know everything I'm talking about. It's true. There we go. Absolutely stunning. Cool, huh? And then there's some stuff here in the back talking about it. I could read it, but I would only partially understand it. I once did someone when I was living down in New York, and they said, they thought everyone in Canada spoke French, and they said to me, do you speak French? And I said, no, but I know enough to know when people are talking about me in French. So beware. And, oh my God, that's it. There's nothing else left. So yeah, that's the extent of my Mobius collection. There's other stuff too that I've been waiting, and now hopefully I'm counting on Dark Horse to bring us basically great collections of all of his other work. Hopefully too, the thing I'm dying for the most is, and I actually have it in soft cover, I have a copy of Arzak, and that was another one of the early pieces of Mobius that made me fall in love with him. Arzak is a cool comic. There's no words in it whatsoever. Excuse me, but it doesn't need any. It's perfect just the way it is. Anyway. Cup of tea, cup of tea, cup of tea. I guess that's it for another week here in the Library of Graphic Literature. Once again, I want to send out hello to all you folks on the Marvel Masterworks bulletin boards there, or message boards, and hi to you folks, all you everyone in the Omnibus Cafe and stuff like that. And I think that's about it. I think that was all I was going to send out. Oh yes, and one more thing is I wanted to do what I called hemispheric homages, more like sort of long distance dedications. If you have either a character or a artist or something in terms of, and I happen to have it here that you'd like me to do a little chat about here on my show, I'll do it. And not only that, but I'll dedicate that part of the show to whoever you want. And if you have something you want me to say to them, I'll say that to them too. This is a free service of the Library of Graphic Literature. We're going to send your love of comics out throughout the world. And you can't get any better than that now, can you? That being said, it's time for me to go out and catch up on my World Cup. I've been taping a lot of the games because they're earlier on in the day. I catch some of them, but then the ones that are later I kind of miss because I'm out and about. But I think Belgium's going to win it this year. Who knows? Okay. Anyway, thanks for having me over, and keep on reading. I'm gonna tune in and tune out. Tune spelled with T-O-O-N. Now, other box, summon me one of those boom tubes of yours. Oh my God! Look at the size of that boom tube. Anyway, I'll see you folks. Same time, same back channel. Oh my God, it's sucking me away. Oh, bye.